This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nate Burleson. Breaking news out of the Supreme Court. The court just ruled that the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plan is unconstitutional. The White House estimates the plan would have affected 37 million Americans and was set to forgive up to $20,000 in federal loans per qualifying borrower. The plan has been on hold since 6 Republican-led states who claimed the program violated President Biden's executive power took the administration to court. But the Biden administration argued the plan is permitted within the law and cited the HEROES Act, which allows the Secretary of Education to make changes related to student loans during national emergencies like the COVID pandemic. Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett is outside the Supreme Court. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Nate, and welcome to the Supreme Court Plaza. As you said, in a 6-3 decision from the Supreme Court, writing on behalf of that majority, Chief Justice John Roberts addresses that question you raised right at the top, Nate. Did the HEROES Act, passed by Congress in 2003, give the Biden administration's Education Department the right to modify or amend that act to provide this student loan forgiveness? The court, through a 6-3 majority, says absolutely not. Let me read the main paragraph from the decision. The HEROES Act provides no authorization for the Secretary's plan when examined using the ordinary tools of statutory interpretation, let alone clear congressional authorization for such a program, meaning the court said Congress never intended for any administration to use the HEROES Act to waive all of this, or grant, rather, this loan forgiveness. What is interesting about this, Nate, is that this is an intent. No one has currently received any debt loan forgiveness. So the 37 million Americans who would benefit from this took out loans or received Pell Grants with the expectation they would have to repay them. That expectation that will now be realized yet again. There will be no forgiveness of this debt, even though the Biden administration argued strenuously before the court it had the right under the HEROES Act to do so, reading that law specifically, and the court said directly, it said it found no authorization for a debt forgiveness of this side. The financial implications of it, Nate, $400 billion, the estimated cost of this debt loan forgiveness, and about 16 million Americans would have qualified almost immediately to have their debt forgiven, at least in part or total. That will not happen, and the court has so ruled. Nate, back to you.
Major Garrett, we'll check back in with you on another Supreme Court ruling in just a bit. Thank you. Joining us now, CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson. Did any of the plaintiffs have the legal standing to bring this suit? In one case, the plaintiffs were 6 GOP-led states. In another, the plaintiffs were 2 student loan borrowers.
Yes, and that's how we got to the opinion that Major just described. If nobody had standing, then the student loan forgiveness program would have remained because nobody would have been able to challenge it. What the court said today is at least Missouri, through a public corporation named Mohila that it created to oversee the student loans, at least Missouri had standing. The court said we don't have to look at the other states, and they proceeded to look at the merits. Exactly as Major said, they're looking at this 2003 statute, the HEROES Act, and they're looking at 2 very specific words, waiver and modification, and they're trying to figure out if this big student loan forgiveness program falls within either one of those words. And the court said today in a 6-3 decision by the chief, no, this is a big program. You need specific authorization from Congress. You can't try and shoehorn it into waiver or modification in the HEROES Act.
Jessica, thank you. Let's bring in Christina Ruffini at the White House. Christina, what's the reaction from the Biden administration?
Well, Nate, the administration was clearly prepared for this eventuality, and although sources at the White House say they strongly disagree with this opinion, the president, they say, will have more to say on this today. But just moments after that opinion came across, we received this statement. It says the president will make clear later today he's not done fighting yet and will announce new actions to protect student loan borrowers. It also says we'll be making it crystal clear to borrowers and their families that Republicans are responsible for denying them the relief that President Biden has been fighting to get them. And that last paragraph really goes to the crux of this. Look, President Biden said in November this was a campaign issue for him. He said he was going to do it. He did it. Nobody should have been surprised by that. And yet there was opposition from Republicans almost immediately to try to overturn that. And we saw that was successful today in the court. Look, the other issue here is one of the biggest borrowers, the biggest borrowers, the biggest holders of student debt are black women. And black women voted overwhelmingly for President Biden. This was one of the things he wanted to do for his constituents, for these people who helped get him in office. So as we heard from the White House, the fight isn't over yet. But as we've seen with this administration, with a split Congress and with a conservative court, it is increasingly difficult for the Biden administration to take executive actions to try to make policy when it keeps getting bounced back by the guys in that big building a little bit down the road.
So what are the possible next steps for the president?
We'll have to see. They could try to do another executive action. You know, in those arguments, one of the justices mentioned this is something that really should come from Congress. But with a divided House and Senate, that seems unlikely. So it's unclear what recourses the White House will really have. But I guess we'll have to hear what the president says later this afternoon.
All right, Christina, we appreciate you. Seems like 1 in 8 Americans will have to restart those payments. The money they were saving for possibly cars or even homes will have to be put on hold if this is indeed the case. We'll check back in with you later. Let's go back to Major Garrett, who I called Chief a little bit earlier at the Supreme Court. Major, there was a big decision that was released today, another one as well. Let's get to that. What do we know?
So this case, Nate, was about the tension between First Amendment rights and LGBTQ rights in the state of Colorado. Lori Smith, who is a web designer, wanted to design websites specifically for marriages, but she only wanted to design those websites for heterosexual couples seeking to be married. She described herself as an artist. She said that these websites would be unique and artistic. And she wanted to post on her business, which doesn't exist yet but is aspirational, that she would not provide any of her web services, her creative web services, for same-sex marriage couples. The state of Colorado informed Lori Smith that she would be violating the state's anti-discrimination law. She sued because she said her First Amendment rights were being violated, and by a 6-3 majority written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, the court sided with Lori Smith, saying that anti-discrimination public accommodations law in Colorado prohibits her from exercising her First Amendment right to say, I oppose same-sex marriage. Let me read to you a portion of Neil Gorsuch's decision and opinion. Quote, the First Amendment's protections belong to all, not just to speakers whose motives the government finds worthy. In this case, Colorado seeks to force an individual to speak in ways that align with its views, but deny her conscience about a matter of major significance. In her dissent, Sonia Sotomayor on the court said as follows: today, the court, for the first time in its history, grants a business open to the public a constitutional right to refuse to serve members of a protected class. Again, the ruling 6-3, authored by Justice Neil Gorsuch, finding on behalf of Lori Smith, saying her First Amendment rights were violated to offer her opinion, saying her business services as a website designer would not be open to same-sex marriage couples. Nate?
Yeah, the question is, on both sides of the coin, on one end, does this win allow a range of businesses to discriminate for a variety of reasons, or is it as simple as not forcing an artist to do work that is against their beliefs? Major Garrett, we appreciate you. Thank you. Now, a quick recap of today's other big decision on student loans. The Supreme Court has struck down President Biden's plan to provide student loan relief for millions of Americans, ruling it is not constitutional. Our coverage will continue with CBS News Streaming, your local news, and tonight on the CBS Evening News. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Nate Burleson here in New York.